Alright everybody, how are you doing today? As if talk of protests lately hasn't been enough, guess what? Like I said, this shit's getting more and more common around the world now. Like, there's more protests than ever. Than I ever remember even in my lifetime. And I'm only like 29 years old. But now on Reuters it says, protesters blockade universities, stockpile makeshift weapons as chaos grips Hong Kong. Anti-government protesters dug in at several university campuses across Hong Kong on Wednesday, setting the stage for further confrontations as police said violence in the Chinese-ruled city had reached a very dangerous and even deadly level. Protesters, many of them young students, spent much of Wednesday fortifying barricades and stockpiling food and makeshift weapons as other roving bands of mass protesters disrupted transport and businesses in many areas. As night fell without more of the large on-campus clash as seen the previous day, protesters manning the barricades and checkpoints around the universities arranged to sleep in shifts to watch for any approaching police. Now, demonstrators have been protesting since June what they see as meddling by Beijing in the freedoms guaranteed under the one country, two systems formula put in place when the former British colony returned to Chinese rule in 1997. Allegations of police brutality have fueled protesters' anger. China denies interfering in Hong Kong's affairs and has blamed Western countries, including Britain and the United States, for stirring up trouble. What, you're not going to blame Russia like everybody else? No, just kidding. But, yeah, in the heart of the city's central business district on Wednesday night, police used an armored vehicle with an officer firing less than lethal rounds from the roof to ram a barricade and disperse protesters who'd been blocking traffic. Nearby protesters also blocked the entrance to the Cross-Harbor Tunnel that links Hong Kong Island to the Kowloon area, according to the city's transport department. Early in the day, about 1,000 protesters blocked roads in the central district at lunchtime, wearing now banned face masks and dressed in office wear. They marched and hurled bricks on the roads lined with some of the world's most expensive real estate and luxury flagship stores. Scores of riot police tried to disperse the crowds near the stock exchange, wrestling some people to the ground and beating others with batons. At the Chinese University of Hong Kong, where multiple people were injured in clashes between riot police and protesters on Tuesday, police accused protesters of running a weapons factory, making hundreds of petrol bombs that were thrown at officers. Now look, initially I had pretty much all but supported the protesters in Hong Kong against the police. I absolutely agree that they were probably most likely violating the one nation, the one country, two systems setup, and violating Hong Kong's rights. I totally believe that. I mean, the Chinese government is practically capable of anything these days. They've shown that now. However, I was only going to support the protesters should they decide to peacefully protest. But this has gone too far. Admittedly, the police were excessively violent, often killing or maiming people. But you chose to respond in kind, and now you look just as bad as they do. How am I supposed to support you after that? How is anyone supposed to support you after that? You look just as villainous. You look just as bad. How is anyone supposed to support you now? Honestly. Of course, I suppose turning the other cheek doesn't always serve, but you still gotta admit it makes you look pretty bad. You're just as the same as them now. You're just the same as them because now you're involved in violence. But as it goes, dangerous, deadly. Police confirmed that they had evacuated a number of mainland Chinese university students from Hong Kong by boat, while Taiwan's Mainland Affairs Council said dozens of Taiwanese students were also due to leave the city due to safety concerns. The youngsters are really the future of Hong Kong, so even though I'm worried about being checked by the police, I still want to come and support them, said Xiong, a 30-year-old alumni bringing supplies, including food, to one campus. Protesters and police had battled through Tuesday night at university campuses, only hours after a police officer said the city had been pushed to the brink of total breakdown. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam met with city government officials late on Wednesday, according to public broadcaster RTHK, though the exact details of the meeting were not released. Hong Kong's Education Bureau said all schools would shut on Thursday. Several universities said they would be introducing online learning and other assessment methods for the remaining weeks of the term. The flare-ups came after police shot a protester at close range on Monday, and police said rioters doused a man with petrol and set him on fire in some of the worst violence so far. Rioters' violence reached a very dangerous and even deadly level, police spokesman told a media briefing. Nowhere in Hong Kong is a lawless land. The turmoil caused delays for thousands of commuters who queued at metro stations across the city early on Wednesday after some railway services were suspended and roads closed. It is very painful to watch my city turn into this. Look at everyone, how angry they are, said Alexandra, a 42-year-old insurance executive who's been trying to get to work. We all want to return to normal, but how can the government do that if they don't listen to what Hong Kongers have been asking for? Police said 142 people have been arrested since Tuesday, bringing the total number arrested to more than 4,000. Hong Kong's hospital authorities said 81 people had been injured since Monday, with 2 in serious condition. Police used tear gas and other equipment to clear protests in several areas of the city in the evening. Many banks and shops and bustling commercial areas shut on Wednesday, while Hong Kong's Jockey Club canceled its evening races. The Association of Asia-Pacific Airlines announced on Wednesday it would cancel the Assembly of Presidents meeting scheduled to take place in Hong Kong later in November. The decision comes a week after major back-to-back conferences on air finance a key growth area for Hong Kong. I hate to say this, but in order for this to stop, China's going to have to do the right thing. And while it may seem unfortunate, they have no choice. They're just going to have to give Hong Kong their independence. Because the only alternative that these rioters and these people are going to offer them is you're going to have to start rolling over them with tanks, or shooting them, or blowing them up. You're going to have to full-scale military engagement this shit. You're just going to have to let them have their independence, or else this is going to turn bloody. You literally have no choice at this point. Let Hong Kong be Hong Kong, and let mainland China be mainland China. Let Hong Kong be its own country. That's the only reasonable option at this point. The lines have been drawn. Both of them have been crossed. It's over. Hong Kong can't afford to be part of China anymore. They're just too vitriolic about it. There's just too much violence. They're just going to resist you, no matter what you try. You're either going to have to kill them all, or you're just going to have to leave and let Hong Kong be independent. At this point, those are your choices. Now, that may seem like something that you wouldn't necessarily want to accept, but what else are you going to do? I mean, give me a third option here, because from what I'm seeing, there is no third option. You got choice A and choice B. Kill them all or leave, because they won't accept any compromises. They've made that clear. Anyway, peace.